Hello everybody, this is Clive5 and you are watching Most Embarrassing Replays. Thank you so much for joining me today on the show where you send me your embarrassing replays. I watch them, commentate them, and put them up online for everyone to see. And if you'd like to be on the show, please send your embarrassing replays to replays@poweroverwhelming.net and we'll get you on the show. Right now we're going to go ahead and get into the first match, so stay tuned. Alright everyone, here we go again with some more Brood War, can you believe it? Now last time I actually messed up on the names of the players, Sin Yin and Claw Rebel. I thought that Sin Yin was Chaos Tech's opponent, but I think it was actually Chaos Tech. And then Claw Rebel is who sent the replays. So I'm not going to mess that up this time. But, anyway, here we go. No, wait a minute. Sin Yin is not... What the... Wait a minute. Okay, I'm about 90% sure that Sin Yin is... is Chaos Tech. Last time it was... Whoever was Protoss... you know what? I don't even know. Who cares? So anyway... I don't remember what map this is. Yeah, and it doesn't really matter because you don't know what map it is anyway. Let's take a look. That's right, I forgot that you can do that on this one. Okay, so let's see, we got sort of a... Oh, there's a ramp down your natural. And a nice little bridge across into the center area, really wide open here. And then a third, it's pretty well protected, I guess. Alright, well there you go, that's the map. That's a nice little feature, I have to say, about Brood War that I wish you could do in Wings of Liberty. So we're back with another Brood War replay. Again, if you have any Brood War replays, first of all, why? Second of all, feel free to send them in. Because, you know, I actually enjoy doing the Brood War replays. It kind of takes me back a little bit. This is going to be a ZvZ, which is going to be interesting. So we're seeing a fast expansion from Sin Yin. You know what? I'm not even going to try to say definitely who was who in this, because I just don't know. But anyway. In a ZvZ in Brood War, basically it was a race to Mutalisks. In Wings of Liberty, I guess it's a little bit different. It's more kind of roach battles here and there. And we're actually seeing Claw Rebel going for a Hydralisk den, a little less, well, not as common, let's just say that. And wow, scouting with a drone, nearly unheard of in in the Brood War days, but very commonplace now in Wings of Liberty. So sorry if I keep making the comparisons against Brood War to Wings of Liberty, but you know it's hard for me not to do since I had that so kind of ingrained. Oh wow, we're scouting with a drone. I mean that wouldn't happen unless you're on like a really big map and you want to find your opponent quickly so you could 6-pool him or whatever. Anyway, so we're seeing single gas. Well, of course it's a single gas because once again I forgot there's only one gas, only one extractor, Vespene Geyser I should say, in your base. Ooh, gas steal from from Claw Rebel in Sin Yin's natural. So if Sin Yin was going to be going for some sort of a quick muta build, which, you know, plausible, that's no longer going to be happening as quickly anyway. So yeah, there is only one Vespene Geyser, but again, if you recall, after this amount of gas is depleted, you can still harvest a smaller amount of gas per trip. So you don't, you know, it's not like in Wings of Liberty where your geyser just turns red and you can't, you know, harvest anything anymore. Ooh, Hydra's out now, and actually it looks like Claw Rebel might act, well, might be able to pose some sort of an offensive. Sin Yin doesn't really have a whole lot to say in terms of army. A couple Zerglings out here and there. They're scattered all around the map. Sin Yin in the Claw Rebel in the meantime has a couple Hydras. Ugh, also no health bars. That's gonna be tough. Let's see, can I? No. Uh-oh. Crap. I just tabbed out there. Hopefully that didn't get too messed up. So it might be a while before Sin Yin can actually produce something of note. Actually, also going for a Hydralisk Den. Really interesting. So it was almost always Mutalisk in Brood War. Mutalisk battles versus Zerglings. Trying to catch your opponent's Zerglings off, you know, out in the middle of the map where they didn't have any support. Trying to build up enough Zerglings so you could overwhelm your opponent's base, even if you got, you know, your Mutalisks taken out. That was pretty much the game of ZvZ in Brood War days. This just kind of baffles me. Only 2. So we are seeing Lair, and I'm also wondering, yeah, if we're going to be seeing Lurker upgrades then. So this is interesting strategy, I have to say. And Sin Yin, now I don't know if I don't remember if it was Sin Yin who was playing Zerg last time, but learning that you need more than just the single hatchery in your base. Actually putting down 4 hatcheries. Because of course there are no queens, you can't do that spawn larva, which is so useful, and so many Zergs are used to playing it that way. These days, again, in Wings of Liberty, yeah, sorry, I know, but it's a really different playstyle. So you definitely need those additional hatcheries in Brood War, and Sin Yin's going to be able to produce quite a bit quite quickly, of course, if his economy gets rolling. I do find it kind of curious, though. He expanded fairly early, and it looks like he's, you know, at best on par, and Claw Rebel actually has quite a bit in the bank. These 2 Hydralisks just here to guard, well, I guess 3 Hydralisks here to guard, have been very valuable, just thwarting off any sort of attack from Sin Yin, and a couple Hydralisks of his own, and idle drones, rather. It's difficult to remember to assign those drones things to do, because in Brood War, once again, you can't just rally your drones straight to a mineral line and they'll start to mine. No, you actually have to tell them to go mine, otherwise they'll go stand right next to the mineral patch and do nothing. So, kind of an annoyance. Just something else you need to get used to. Now we're seeing a little bit of a divergence here. We're actually seeing Hydralisk range being upgraded for Sin Yin versus the Lurker upgrades, which is now completed, and a couple Lurkers out on the scene ready from Claw Rebel. So it's going to be not as effective just because, well, it's going to be more defensive like he has burrowed right now, just because Sin Yin's not bringing any Overlords along. It's a lot more difficult to bring Overlords along. Coming in with these Hydralisks, and the Lurkers are actually going to be quite effective. Yikes! I'm going to lose both of those Hydralisks. Bad micro, I have to say. And morphing a couple more Lurkers. Really, he should keep some Hydralisks out in Hydralisk form, just so he has some of that anti-air to pick off those the Overlords. Overlords, again, are detectors in Brood War, so games or strategies with burrowed Lurkers, not as effective in Brood War. That's why Protoss player Bisu became so well known. He had a special build, the Bisu build, where he would use Corsairs to eliminate the Overlords in his opponent's expansions, and then send in, you know, a couple DTs, and that was an extremely effective strategy. And I mean, really, it was difficult to pull off just because those Overlords were, you know, they were everywhere. I mean, think about it. I mean, right here there are 3 Overlords, 3 detectors right there, and it's natural. But if you have enough Corsairs to take those out, then you can send in cloaked units. Cloaked units just not that effective against Zerg. But we are seeing a very large massing of units from Sin Yin, and I also have to point out that he is on 1, 2, 3, 4 bases now. Oh, well, hasn't started mining from all of them, but really going heavy in that economy. He's playing like Idra is playing. Well, not really, because Idra would have destroyed him by now, but, you know, just saying. I also like that he has detection at all these other locations around the base. Now, finally, a third going down for Claw Rebel. Has quite a few unspent resources, too, so... Oh, here come the troops. A little bit more difficult to attack, because, of course, you can only select 12 units at a time. And here comes an Overlord. Going to be able to help spot those Lurkers. Lurkers are going to get taken out. Yikes, he really needs to get rid of the Overlord. Oh, wow. Lurkers were a little bit more effective than I expected. And now with that Overlord taken care of, Sin Yin's going to have to back off. Morphing more Lurkers. Queen! I have to assume that was a misclick. Well, it is an error no more. Close battle here, but it looks like Sin Yin remaining with 3 more Hydralisks to... Whoop. How do you do? To take care of business here. They are easily going to get cleaned up, not really paying attention to what he's doing. So now is Claw Rebel's chance to move in and take care of things. And this expansion is vulnerable. This one's not as vulnerable, but with a couple more Hydralisks, could be vulnerable. Actually, curiously enough, no observers here, no overlords rather. And no overlords in the main, so let's... Wow, Hive already. That's something else. Ooh, going for Greater Spire, so we might be seeing that the Lurkers are just sort of a stopgap until Guardians can come out. And I have to say, I'm not really a big fan of this Lurker placement. Technically, well, typically it's more effective if you place them in sort of an arc, like you'd want your units to be in an arc, not all in a clump. It's really only going to be an issue in a clump should Sin Yin come in with some, say, Plague or whatever, but, well, he's going for Hive, though I don't know if he'll be going for a Defiler Mound anytime soon. Man, his production, though, is fairly good. Queens. What are they doing with Queens? Huh. Almost never saw Queens in Brood War. Just about the only time you would see Queens is on the rare occasion against a Terran. And I really liked this strategy, but it was just really rare to see. But you would use the Ensnare ability of Queens to slow down the Marines and Medics and basically surround them with Zerglings. It was quite an effective strategy. Yeah, the problem against that Zerg, well, specifically Zerglings, have against Terran infantry ball is that spotted is that, and it's going to get taken down by the way, is that the medics just stuck so close to the Marines and were able to take down those Zerglings really easily. I guess it can't really compare to medics that can fly, though. Medevacs, rather. Ooh, this hatchery might get taken down. He should cancel it. Ooh, just cancels in time. Drone, of course, is going to die. Ooh, Queen's on the move. Don't really know what they were doing, though. Maybe some spawn broodlings. Yeah, Queens were actually responsible for making broodlings back in the day. And looks like Sin Yin getting ready for an attack on this really unprotected third here, and it's definitely going to go down. What Zerg players used to do is the Nidus Canal between bases, and of course you could still do that today with the Nidus Worm. Just less common. I think Nidus Worm is a little bit more expensive and not as sturdy. It's a bit more difficult to use as a reinforcing tactic between bases. Plus, I think Brood War maps were a lot more segmented than Wings of Liberty maps are. Pretty much every Wings of Liberty map has a very close nested second and, you know, fairly close third base that you can get to, with a few exceptions, of course. Ooh. I heard them Scourge. Wow, lots of lurkers morphing here. Wow. Greater Spire is now complete too, but I am not seeing any Mutalisks being produced. Ooh, Ventral Sacs. So we are going to see some Overlord Transport. Ooh. Again, I wonder if that was a misclick more than anything else. Oh, I guess not, because those queens keep getting taken out, and honestly I don't know why the queens are there, or really what function they have. None, really, but whatever. Does he know that there's a ramp right here that he can go up and destroy this base? Guess not. Ooh, I hope these get burrowed in time, because here come the troops. They're going to start pecking away at these lurkers. They better burrow quickly, otherwise they're going to get taken down. Lurker's actually not that sturdy. Getting moved into the back. Burrow these. Burrow. Burrow. Wow, I guess it doesn't even matter because they are getting destroyed. Excuse me, and there you have it. The power of the Lurker. A unit to be feared in Brood War. I know a lot of Zerg players are hoping to see it return in Heart of the Swarm. I'm actually kind of hoping it will return in Heart of the Swarm. It might make me go back to, you know, trying to play random again. Initially I wanted to play random because I didn't want to just pick a single race. I didn't want to play just Terran, you know. But I just hate playing Zerg. I'm bad at it. It's not really my playstyle. Scourge being put to use, though really I kind of want to see the Mutalisks converting into Guardians. That would just be fun. Looks like Sin Yin's going to go for some lurkers of his own. This is just a really bizarre match, I have to say. But then again, that comes from my former bias of knowing, well, what ZvZ, quote, should be. Wow, nice hatchery reinforcement point in the middle of the map here. Might become a good place to put down some creep colonies. There we go, creep colonies, and morph those into sunkens and whatnot to prevent against ground movement. Wow, that was exciting. Well, we got one everything here. Got the Defiler Mound. It's upgrading Defiler Energy. Yet I don't see any Defiler. Oh, there we go. I stand corrected. So maybe we will see some Plague. Plague-oo, as they used to say, the Korean commentators. Ooh, now a few lurkers here at the entrance of his third. So finally that third is protected. And you did see in the chat that someone asked someone else if they were blocked. Sin Yin, not blocked, sitting at about 106, 107. Claw Rebel, sitting about 103, so roughly even on supply. Look at all the money he has in the bank, though. 4,700 minerals versus Sin Yin's 1,500. So it makes me wonder what Sin Yin has been producing, honestly. Because he's on 4 mining bases here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Actually building a hatchery here, too. Just happened. Ah, spawning broodlings. That's fun stuff. Ultralisks now out. That's stupendous. Ultralisks, surprisingly, also not going to last long against this many lurkers. So when Sin Yin does attack, he's got to make sure that he brings along an Overlord and that he keeps it well protected, especially since Claw Rebel's been producing his Scourge, and he should continue. Yes, I'm glad I saw those fly in. Continue keeping those around to snipe off any of these Overlords that happen to fly by. Defiler almost getting ready to move in to do something. Might be doing the Plague. I really hope I see Plague, and I'm gonna shout Plague Ooh if I see it. Okay, the Dark Swarm. Prevents, let's see if I remember this correctly. Prevents ranged attacks from affecting what's underneath the Dark Plague. So, you're doing Dark Cloud wrong. Certainly is. He's actually protecting his own, well, he's hurting the fact that he can't destroy the ranged units underneath the Dark Cloud. The Dark Swarm, rather. So really what he would maybe need to do is a trail of Dark Swarm in and then run in with his Zerglings. Or do lurkers do melee damage? Melee damage. Whatever. Careful! Oh! Oh! I remember there's something kind of odd about the way lurkers do damage, or there's some unit that does damage weird, and here comes the Observer, and it's gonna get sniped! Oh, not gonna get sniped. That was odd. He's got a couple more. Use them. There you go. Boom. There's no way he's going to come out ahead here until he gets... Well, he's not going to get... Even if he has an Observer here, he's not going to be able to move these while burrowed. Oh, can you imagine moving lurkers while burrowed? That would just be traumatizing. Barely mining at all from this base. That's interesting. Deficient on a few Overlords there. And, man, I'm just waiting for Claw Rebel to actually move out here. Ooh, getting ripped apart from those lurkers. He needs to have Observers there. Oh, just getting utterly destroyed. Well, so many of them getting utterly destroyed. Now has finally broken through that line. What is he? Does that Overlord have a vision of that? Ah, there we go. There's the, whatever it's called. Yeah, I think lurkers do melee damage. Huh. Well, anyway, so we just saw Sin Yin lose a large number of troops. He's down to 113. Claw Rebel at about 120. He hasn't really lost a whole lot, I guess. Just not being really effective. Turtling up and Zerg turtling. Not something you see often. And again with these queens. What's... I just don't understand. Ah, Ensnare was the name of that spell with the green sludge. That's right. Overlords moving in, and they are full. These Overlords are full, and of course the Overlords detect, so these lurkers will be pretty null. This third base is likely going to go down. He's got to be careful though. He might lose his Overlords if he's not careful. Not dropping. What is he doing? Oh, only dropping one at a time. That's just... Ooh. Alright, now the Overlords are out. The Hydralisks have banded together, however, and even though they were spread out before, but now they're collected here to defend, and wow, this drop had potential. But now it's just sort of a... Looks looks like he might just barely be able to take out the rest of these Hydralisks and threaten these workers here. This Overlord still has some stuff in it. Lurker's not bothering to move. They could easily finish this off. Well, no, I can take that back. There's the Overlords that have vision here. So, I guess Sin Yin with an effective drop. Looks like Claw Rebel is going to counter. Sorry, I missed him take down that hatchery there. And again, another hatchery here. Not being used yet, though, but surrounded by lots of minerals. Oh, moving in. Oh, even though there's detection here from all these spore colonies. Oh, look at that utter massacre. Oh, just the power of spread out lurkers. And there is detection no more. I love lurkers. They're just amazing. So, there's the base trade. Looks like, these lurkers might have actually taken down the rest of what was in here. Troops now moving out. Gonna attack straight for the main. Ultralisk just running straight past these lurkers. And surprisingly going to be actually effective. Oh, not going for the main. I take that back, actually. Looks like they might try to clean up the remains of this third here. Specifically the lurkers around. Oh man, in the meantime, I'm missing more lurkers moving in. Taking out this, well, these mined out natural. These hatcheries not really good for much else but production at this point. Nothing going on in here either, so just this remaining base for mining for Sin Yin. Claw Rebel, not mining any minerals either, but look at what he has in the bank. 9K. Looks like he definitely has a bit of an advantage here. Those lurkers moving up in. Oop. There's another lurker here, but once he burrows, he'll be fine, honestly. Oh man, just barely has the high ground advantage here too, so. Whoop. Oh man, and the Hydralisks lining up as they come down this ramp. Just get destroyed. Whoop. Popping up. He has to be careful because there is this Overlord here. What else is going on, really? Not much. Again, just the last mining base from Sin Yin. Claw Rebel needs to bring in some observers here. Overlords. Whose hatchery is this? I think it's Claw Rebels. Because these are Claw Rebels lurkers. One lurk. Bringing in the troops. Specifically these queens, which are going to do a lot of good. You know, actually, queens with their spawn broodling ability against Ultralisks, quite tasty actually. Because so little energy for such good return. Destroying those lurkers, or Ultralisks. Boom, just like that. And do we see another one? Nope, but that Ultralisk was taken down pretty well anyway. So now these lurkers stand pretty much unopposed. Not a whole lot left. A lot of larvae sitting around. Sin Yin still working hard to try to get anything produced that he can. He's harvesting. He's got quite a few minerals in the bank, but he's not really producing anything with it. That confuses me, honestly. Got a couple Ultralisks here. Nothing going on here. Lurkers moving in. And honestly, it's pretty comical, honestly. Seeing these broodlings just destroy the Defiler Mound. And the life on them much, much longer in Brood War. So this is going to be the end of Sinyan's base, I believe. There go the broodlings. That's what I wanted to see. That's it. So we should spawn broodlings on a bunch of these guys and watch them tear apart the mineral line. That would be fun. That's a strategy I haven't really seen. You know, sometimes it takes players that aren't that, you know, ingrained, I guess you could say, in the, you know, minigame strategies of Brood War or whatever game you're talking about, to try something new, something that one hasn't seen very often. I definitely like seeing these broodlings in here tearing apart the drones. They're pretty slow, honestly, but with this many queens, you should be able to spawn a lot more. I'm not sure why he isn't. So, I guess we're just sort of waiting for the inevitable. I'm actually going to speed it up a little bit, because you all know where this game is going, and no sense wasting the time. And there are all the broodlings now finally destroying this mineral line. That's kind of what I want to see. So anyway, while this game is finishing up, let me just remind you, if you have any replays to send, please send those to replays at poweroverwhelming.net. We're going to have a second replay coming up here pretty soon once we see the GG, which is now overdue. Oh, he was AFK for 5 minutes. Huh, well. That's fun. And there we go, Sin Yin has left the game. Congratulations to Claw Rebel. And there you have it. We're going to be moving on to the second replay in just a second. Alright, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is our second replay of the night, and it is on Xel'Naga Caverns. This is a matchup between Seaweed and Reiko. Seaweed, the purple Protoss in the top right, and Reiko, the blue Protoss in the bottom left. So we are seeing a PvP. Now, if I remember correctly, Reiko doesn't usually play Protoss. I think he's, imagine you're not looking at this. You know, Seaweed, not the most savory character, as you know, has some adolescent tendencies. No offense, of course, it's just who you are. So anyway, Reiko, I don't think usually plays Protoss. I remember him playing Terran, so I'm not sure if his Protoss is quite as strong. He is ranked a bit higher than Seaweed. Seaweed is a platinum level player, and Reiko, I believe, was Masters. You can correct me on that. Wow, okay, so just ignore the chat. Because this is, well, alright. Good stuff. Yeah. Okay, so Seaweed getting an early scout on Reiko. Reiko hasn't bothered to scout yet. Really, I don't see the point of scouting quite this early, because against a Protoss, you're not really going to see anything really odd. Reiko just sneaked to the north end of his base to put a pylon up there. Seaweed will catch it, though it's not really that hidden. running up to see if there's anything going on up there. Nope, there is definitely not yet. But still, yeah, not anything really to see up here. This really Ringo times 6. He's got a dose. Well, Cybernetics Core going down. Probably see the same for both players, roughly. Pretty boring, actually. So we'll see when these two players put down their second gas. That's usually when builds may start to diverge. Looks like Reiko's putting down a gateway, trying to cram it up in that corner. I don't know if Seaweed saw it. No, he did not. So hiding that second gateway from Reiko, he might be going for a 4-gate or something to that effect. Still hasn't put down a second gas, so we'll see if Seaweed ends up finding that or not. Now Reiko moving out to scout. Seaweed does have sort of a, not a hidden, but just an off-center pylon here, so he may later on elect to put some sort of tech in that back corner, but we'll keep an eye out for that. Still just not quite seeing the edge of that gateway. And that gateway is going to be producing Stalker. Chrono boosted, and another Stalker that's getting chrono boosted. Versus 4 gates. 4-gate. In the meantime, we still don't see anything else from Reiko. I wonder if Reiko's trying to pose like he's going to do a fast expand or an early expand of some sort. Because all Reiko knows about is the gate and the Cybernetics core, so I wonder if he's at all curious about what's going on. And now it's sort of the backdoor pylon from Reiko. And here come Reiko Stalkers in. Oh, decimating the only Stalker on Seaweed's side. There's a second Stalker ready now, but he needs to be really careful about how he engages with it. Now warping in a few more. Oh no, losing pylon power on several of those gateways. And Reiko bringing more to enforce. Nice micro, moving away the damage Stalkers. Well, sort of moving away the damage Stalkers. I don't think he gave quite enough time for Seaweed's Stalkers to sort of reset what they were firing at. It'll come with time, Reiko. Who am I to judge how another player plays Protoss? Certainly not. Anyway, yeah, so what's going on here? Second gateway, Reiko, man, what build are you doing here? Even on troop count, you would now see he finds Reiko's pylon. Count your probes? I don't think it does, no. In the meantime, Seaweed... Oh, there's a couple of Stalkers over here. Seaweed putting a pylon in the back of that sort of... Well, in the back of that reeds section leading into Reiko's natural. And that 4-gate push is going to be coming very strong now. Reiko still just now getting on the 4th and bringing in a Twilight Council, so it looks like he'll be going, well, maybe speed bots, I guess, now that he's starting to get some mix. He needs to be careful about how he engages because his Stalkers are separated. Yikes! Oh, a couple Stalkers getting picked off there, and that's not good at all. Though he has a higher Zealot count, he's going to have to use that wisely, and only if Seaweed doesn't micro this properly is he going to be in trouble here. But it looks like he might actually get pinned in here. I take that back. I thought he was I thought the probes were going to do a little better job at pinning in Reiko's troops. Reiko chastising Seaweed on this war game. But it looks like, for the time being, it's prevailing. And wow, there you have it. So I guess Seaweed able to take down Reiko, a player of superior rank. And that's going to be it for today. If you have any embarrassing replays, please send them to replays@poweroverwhelming.net. Today is going to be Nexus Wars Day, I decided, so dust off that Nexus Wars strategy guide that you purchased and join us up on Battle.net. If you're catching this on YouTube, be sure to join us live on Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock Central. Hope to see you there next week. Thanks, everyone.